Microphone test 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. This is the Other Room podcast, live and direct from BKK, Thailand. Welcome to our fifth episode number 5 of the Other Room podcast. So, what do we have? On ground? What do we want to talk about? As you all know, my name is Joel, aka Authority.
My name is Anthony at Groovin Tony on Twitter.
And we are your host. We are the Other Room podcast host. So what do we have to talk about, Tony?
Yeah, the hot topic for now is the H&M ad that's up there everywhere.
Oh, okay, the H&M. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. The social media world is exploding right now. There has been a lot of celebrities coming out to condemn the motive behind that shirt, and also there has been a lot of black people coming out to defend the same thing as well. So it's right now it's more of like a mixed emotion. Some people are actually against that, and some people are in support of that. While from their own perspective, there's nothing wrong with H&M comparing or letting a black kid wearing a shirt that says the coolest monkey in the jungle. And as you all know, the word monkey comparing to black people it's kind of offensive.
Yeah.
But from my own understanding, and the point most of the black people are making that are actually in support of this whole thing is we do call ourselves monkeys all the time. So there's nothing wrong with H&M printing a shirt, letting a black boy wearing a shirt says the coolest monkey in the jungle or in the forest. But the same thing, they let a white boy wear a shirt and say what's the
survival expert?
Yeah, survival expert. So that is kind of confusing, and there's a lot of people trying to be woke. Seriously, I don't use that word. I hate using the word woke, and I don't use it because to me it's more of clinching right now. A lot of people randomly using it just to refer to themselves as being conscious of what is going on in an environment, or being smart, or being intelligent enough to know. But at the same time, there's a lot of contradictory things about that. Some people refer to themselves as woke. Some say they have
first thing is,
community.
Let me just first respond to something you raised up there. People say because we call ourselves monkeys, or as growing up we call ourselves monkeys, so there is no problem with other people calling us monkey. But here's the problem: like, if you just walk into a group of friends, like girls, and you call one of them bitch, look at the reaction that will actually come out of that word that you just used. Then compare that same reaction to when a member of that same group calls another of her friends a bitch.
My bitches, my hoes.
Exactly, right?
They're cool with it.
According to what Tana Hesse quotes said, he said, like, words do not exist without a context.
Yes.
And the context here is because there's already an established friendship, a mode of conversation, and semiotics. So if I come as an outsider and say that same word to that same group, then they can't relate. There's going to be an outrage. Yeah. So that does not normalize H&M referring to that little boy as the coolest monkey. So that argument that because we use that word, then it should be normalized, I think that falls flat.
Okay.
Because if we feel like, okay, because now here it is, a lot of the people who are saying, oh, we call each other monkeys anyway. We call each other niggers too, but does that give white people
the privilege,
or other persons of color who are not black the privilege to call you nigger?
No.
That's the same similarity. That's the comparisons that we should be making. So people who are saying that because we use that within our community, then definitely it should be normalized for everyone to use
First of all, people who make excuses like that or trying to defend this racism like with because we called ourselves monkey, I don't know the village or the community they grow up. I don't know how they play, but back in how I grew up, we hardly refer to one another as monkey. We don't do that. We don't know where you're coming up with that fucking bullshit. We don't do that where I grew up. We don't call each other as monkey, right? And when you call someone's monkey, it's not in a like that means you're angry. That's you. Like you, the person makes you feel really. And the point I'm trying to say is there has been an established white supremacist and Western idea that refers to black people as monkeys, not just because they look like one, it's because they believe they are the transmitter of diseases, right? They use that term to condemn us, to make us feel less of who we actually are. So the point is not we are using the word monkey or loosely or calling ourselves monkey. That is not the point. The point is there's a hidden agenda behind that shit. Behind, how could you call someone the coolest monkey if the person has not been referred to before as a monkey? You cannot call the person like okay, why can't they print like the coolest lion, the coolest elephant, the coolest? But black people has been calling monkey just to make us feel less of human, just to make us feel like more of an animal, just because they don't understand the secret behind blackness. They don't understand the idea or the science or the science behind our strong DNA. So the only thing it can make us feel is to make us feel less of a human being by referring to us to animal, which reminds me of what happens in China Museum. I think we talked about this in our first episode, right? In China, there's a museum where they compare black people to different animals, not just different. They compared us to the apes family, right? And now you're telling me the H&M, they made that mistake, or they do that not on purpose.
I don't believe that's a mistake.
That is not a mistake. In China, they did the same thing too. There was a popular museum where
we can actually make a case that in China, right, racism is more
acceptable,
kind of an acceptable norm, and you can also make the argument that the racial differences makes them more ignorant of the fact that they shouldn't have done that. But when you're talking about a global brand like H&M making that kind of, that's not a mistake. That's I think we've come to this stage in civilization whereby people feel like, okay, in the form of trying to be artistic, how about we try to challenge certain norms? Okay. Like, okay, how about we normalize the word Negro or niggers? How about, okay, we normalize calling people monkeys so that then we can be like, oh, it's fucking 2018, so why do you feel offensive? But
at the end of the day, using it as a marketing strategy.
We're forgetting that, like, everybody's sensitive anyway.
Yes.
And here's the catch: there is no way they can say it's a mistake, because here is it: someone came up with the idea to make that print, that hoodie. There was a stylist on set that decided to put that on that child.
Okay, that is the
there
point.
There is a photographer.
Photographers.
It goes to post-production. There's a creative person that goes through that line. And also there is a marketer. And after that, then you also have like whoever is in the shop or the department that has to actually put those stocks in the stores. So they are quite aware that. So are you trying to tell me like each of these stages that there is nobody who feels like, yo, let's pay close attention to this, that something is wrong here? It is a blatant way of just putting in our eyes that you guys need to accept it.
Accept the fact.
Or also that, okay, if there is an outrage within the black community, it helps literate this ad in the end anyway. Because at the end of the day, you have people like PDD, you have LeBron James and everybody else with huge followership posting about this. And do you know, like, at the end of the day, it's more like reverse marketing or advertising, because it just blew up. Though it's in a wrong way, but this ad wouldn't have reached as much as it have reached.
If not because of the controversy behind it.
So there's no way anybody can tell me this is a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
this is
it's
right in
either,
our face.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. They have like I say, idea behind the whole entire controversies is either for marketing strategies or just to make us know it's time to accept the fact that we are actually a monkey.
I think even right before this happened, I feel like every time these people make these marketing mistakes or marketing faux pas, we just seems to get over it in the sense that I'm using my own personal example. I've seen at least 2 different racist advertisements from Dove. That's the cosmetic company. And I've seen these 2 different racist ad, and most recently I think one happened like 3 months ago. But even if I still get into the store to get cosmetics product or whatever, I still buy Dove product without considering
the fact that
their history of racist advertisement.
Yeah.
So I feel like these companies have felt like we are all just outraged at the moment that it happens. Then everybody just gets back to normal, and then we just get over it. But it's already in our brain that, okay, H&M has this certain product, or H&M is already registered in our brain already. So I feel like it's a way for them to maximize their reach and their audience, because we basically they don't feel the financial impact. The black community don't really hold back and be like, okay, we are not shopping with
we're going to boycott
H&M or whatnot. So I feel like there needs to be a research that actually shows if this outrage is actually detrimental to the companies or it's beneficial to them.
I think it's more beneficial to the company, because I was reading an article which says like H&M was even thinking of closing down some of their stores around the world, right? Because their stock is falling and their marketing plan is not working.
Yeah, the same thing with Marc Jacobs.
Yeah, and they really need this. They really need controversies to come back into the market system. You know, like things like this. And the point I'm making, that the black people who are coming up to defend this ignorant print from H&M, the only thing I'm thinking of them is of, like, you know, when a white person throw a racist jokes at you and you challenge them being a racist, they always say, no, I'm not racist because I have a black friends.
Yeah,
I believe all the black guys that comes out, or the black people that comes out and defend this ignorant, is because they are the white people only black friend. And I will say it to your face, if you listen to this, and I would like to read most of the tweet and the Facebook posts, but I will not say their name. But if they get hold of this whole thing, call me. They have my, I know that, or the 2 people I'm going to read from, they know me. They have either my Instagram, my Facebook, so they could just hit me back and challenge me.
Just call them out. There's no need, like, come on. So, it's just difference of opinion, right?
Yeah, there is a post from a girl, Chuni Charles. She says, she tweeted, we black people call each other monkey and we cool with it. But coming from someone that's not black is offensive. To Mekeshi. I don't know what that means. I don't think, this is the second one, I don't think we would have a problem if H&M was owned by a black man. Because then this hoodie would mean us embracing the monkeys that we are. But coming from a white team changes the whole perspective. It's now offensive, not funny. So what do you think about that?
I actually think the problem with this, the first and second post, is that she's trying to sound woke or socially conscious by being politically correct. And she actually misses the point that we're talking about here. Like, you're trying to normalize being called a monkey. And there's already a history of this racial slur or derogatory word being used. Even when you come to sports, okay, Emmanuel Adebayo, Emmanuel Frimpong, Danny Alves, and so many black athletes and footballers have been called monkey all across Europe.
Even in a symbolic way by throwing banana at them.
And the thing is this, it's even good that we're having this conversation now, because I have this theory that this same event of being called monkey is going to happen in Russia when the World Cup goes to Russia, and when African teams and African fans go
Russia
to Russia
is one
for
of the
World
most
Cup.
racist
Exactly.
country. Most of the African player playing football there has been calling different names.
A Russian TV channel called Live News actually posted a report about this H&M. Listen to what the caption was. H&M brand bullied because of black-skinned little monkey. Let me say that word again. That was the caption of the news. It said H&M brand bullied because of black-skinned little monkey. That it is one. They're still trying to justify that our outrage is a form of bully, not an opinion. And two, they go ahead to press the fact that kid is actually a black-skinned little monkey. That's the literal translation of the word from Russia to English, and it's all over Twitter. So this is not like me making stuff up. So now we're having this conversation, but I feel like later in the year we're still going to have this conversation because African team and fans are going to be in Russia for the World Cup, and Russia fans are going to continue to say this. They should just there's already this history.
They should just prepare for that.
Even as big as Patrice Evra is, he's French and he's being called monkey. And receiving racial slurs even in his own country. Then you have these other cases of Mark Olsen in England, and then in Russia, Emmanuel Frimpong and Emmanuel Emenike from Nigeria, and so many athletes. And also a Brazilian footballer in Serbia. And then Daniel Alves when he was thrown a banana. And so these different things. Now, when people are now trying to normalize being called monkey, and there's already recent history of how people feel and how they're trying to use this to demoralize
how
community.
How white people has been using this same word monkey.
And the thing is, within the black community, people that have such opinion as what Chuni just has are called coon. She's a coon for saying that.
Right word.
Because that's being a sellout. I quite understand that you can have a different opinion, but trying to normalize being degraded by another community. Okay, it's just as good. Okay, here's an example. Comedian Rosie O'Donnell made a joke about Chinese people, Ching Chong, and there was outrage. And it makes sense because you cannot insult people of Chinese heritage. That's the same thing. We're just asking for respect, that you can't continue to call us monkeys. We don't want the younger generation to actually grow up and feel like, okay, it's normal to be called monkey, because how many people actually want to be called Negroes or niggers?
Let's even come to think of it. The word nigger, I don't even use it that loosely. Maybe I use the word, I can count how many times I use the word in a year. Right? So
the problem with this is that I'm not really outraged by what H&M is doing, because I feel like these brands do it anyway. So we're used to it. But it's just the reaction within the black community that is getting me really irate. Like, you have people actually coming up in trying to stay woke or trying to be liberal or be politically correct, then trying to justify these things.
I don't say that.
So what's the difference between being called...
Listen, I don't see that as being woke. That is not...
Exactly.
That is just a pure ignorance.
And the thing is, people feel like because it is coolest monkey in the jungle, because it's being textualized, that it doesn't have the same emotions as being verbalized when people are called monkeys, compared to when it's being textualized. But either being textualized or being verbalized, it's all semiotics. So it carries the same form of emotions. And I think people are actually missing the point, especially within the black community. And to me, I think it's ignorance, because people just don't read. That's it. They just want to do is
now the point
Instagram
is
videos.
Yeah,
people don't read.
They're trying to give a literal meaning to this, without even reading into the context, like what the history behind the word monkey related to blacks.
If we rationalize being called monkeys, then I won't be surprised. Then we'll have to rationalize Kool-Aid.
Yes,
being the regular drinks. Yeah, because you might want to make an argument that
watermelon being favorite or chicken be your best food ever.
So I'm actually more outraged by the response from the black community. And the thing is, dear white people, you can't tell us how to feel about being called monkey or being referred to as monkey. And the thing is, good thing is black academias have come out to actually denounce
this.
So if black academias,
Jesse Williams denounced this,
people who are actually intellectuals coming out to deny this,
even
then
white,
who are you? Who gives a fuck about you?
Even some white guys, G-Eazy terminated his contract with H&M because of this. And the point people are making is they said, what if the white kid was the one wearing monkey? Would we have been this offended or outraged by the whole thing? But the point is, when a white boy was bullied, the black athletes, the black people was in support of this. This is not the point. Like, bullying is bad, and being referring to black people as monkeys is bad as well.
We're also missing the point that there was a comparison in the sense that the white kid was seen as a survivor
expert.
That is, it takes some form of mental strength and instinct to be able to survive in the jungle.
Which the white supremacist has been preaching for
years. That black kid that is the prey.
Yeah.
Because he is the monkey.
The
While the other white kid is
survivor
aspect. And when people want to make the statement that being like, it's not like we've never been called monkey. We have a history of being called monkey. There are even a lot of musical lyrics that has to do with being called monkey. And one of that is like Kendrick Lamar, where he said, "You hate me, don't you?
Don't you?
You hate my people. Your plan is to terminate my culture. You're fucking evil. I want you to recognize that I'm a proud monkey."
That is referring to white people referring to black people as monkey.
Exactly.
And this is not only white things. It's like Asia doing the same thing too.
Me trying to just literate my argument with these Kendrick lyrics is that we're trying to say that, okay, this is negative, but we're trying to bring the positive out of the negative. We're trying to feed off of this.
You call me monkey, but I will let you know that I'm a survived monkey, and I'm proud to be one.
You hate me, that's why you call me a monkey. So I'm more outraged by the black community because, come on, man.
And let me read the second one from Facebook from Willie Zongo. He's a friend, probably a friend of the show as well. But dude, I'm just going to come straight to you. If you have problem with anything, if you come across this podcast, I want to discuss this in an open forum, call me. I'm always ready to discuss or to argue anything with anybody, anytime concerning history about black Africa. So he says, I'm asking to myself, how would have been people's reaction if it was white kid wearing a shirt with monkey on it? Normal, of course. Then why does we people are making a big issue about it? It's just like we are admitting ourselves that we are monkeys. Why are we feeling offended? This is another manipulation from this system, and rather than ignoring that, we are making a big issue of it. My question is, are we black people monkey? I see only one answer, no. So why making a big issue unless we're feeling ourselves like monkey? Just saying.
The thing is, this is a person who complains of racism
every day.
Exactly. So now you're trying to say, okay, are we a monkey? Then are we Negroes? If that's the same question you want to ask. Now I want to ask, are we Negroes? Because you want to ask, are we monkeys? And the problem is that you're trying to make the argument that this is whatever from a system or whatnot. The thing is, the system is not trying to manipulate you or whatever. You're already manipulated in the sense that you're showing ignorance of the fact that you're trying to normalize
the word monkey.
And the key thing here is context. The context is that there is already a history of black people being called monkey.
That is what you have to focus on.
Then you have a black kid modeling the same hoodie. That's the context. That's why when I started my statement, I said words have no meaning without context. It would have had no meaning if it was a white kid that had that. Because
white people has never been referred to as
called
monkey.
But black people have that already. So exactly that's why. And it's just going back to what I said about Rosie O'Donnell joke, that Chinese people already have that there's already that derogatory term, ching chong, for Chinese people. And when she made that joke, it struck a nerve within the Chinese community that you can't do this. So there's already a context, man. So all trying to be politically correct and act being socially conscious, but you miss the mark, my nigga. You miss the mark.
The point is,
and the thing is, I just feel like I always say this: the black community, there's too many ignorance. People don't read.
Way too much.
And I'll actually recommend books for people to read. Like you can read what's this guy he's from Philly. He's always on beat. He's got this really good book. You can actually read The New Jim Crow that talks about the prison system in the US, how it's designed to have black people incarcerated, why the multinational companies who own these prisons are making a lot of money.
They call it like
you can actually read
pipeline, prison pipeline.
Yeah, you can actually read Ta-Nehisi Coates' "We Were 8 Years in Power." There are a lot of black books there for black people to read and see how to try to understand the political economy of the world. It's not all about the system is trying to manipulate us. That's so banal to say that, oh, the system. But how does the system try to manipulate you? You don't even understand how the system works, and you just say it tries to manipulate you because you don't even understand your own heritage.
That's the point. The point is, people, you see, if you go through the post, the comment section is full of white people actually hailing him for coming out and say this. And that's why I said, like, he's probably the only black friends of the racist white guys that always say, oh no, I can't be racist because I have a black friend.
Exactly.
You are just their black friend, my nigga. You are just their.
The thing is,
sorry to use the word. I don't love using it, but you are just one of them.
I don't understand how black people can actually come out and try to normalize and rationalize this as being okay because it's okay. Let's assume because it's okay within our community that we call people monkeys.
I don't know which community. Nobody does that. Where
everybody else has to call us that.
Nobody. How many? The word monkey hasn't been using like loosely from where you came from. No, we don't.
I didn't use that word. To other people while growing up. So I don't know
people as a monkey while growing up.
You have people normalizing being called monkeys.
And the one other thing is this whole thing is kind of I'm not surprised anyway because it's one of the topic we discussed, but we've been talking about racism like in every episode of our podcast, right? So we kind of, and I've been like a victim of various different kind of racism, right? There's this another guy again. He said he's a friend as well. He said, I call my son monkey boy all the time. I too must be racist. This is getting ridiculous now. And this same person is a mixed blood or mixed race. I think the mom is white, the dad is Jamaican. Right?
Yeah.
And the son is white Chinese, and he's partly is 1/3 Jamaica, right? And he said he called his son monkey boy all the time. So just because you call your son monkey boy all the time, and H&M is coming out and openly calling black kids like the coolest monkey in the jungle, that doesn't mean calling us monkey is good or is normal. It might be normal to you, and I'm sure when you call your son monkey, you don't call your son monkey openly where people can actually hear you saying that, or among his friends or something.
This kind of points or this kind of argument can easily be debated with an analogy that, okay, because your black friends, okay, he has black race, he has like Jamaican race, which is black, right? Because your black friends call you nigger, does that mean that are you okay with white people calling you nigger?
That is so stupid.
So it's that simple analogy. Because you call your son monkey doesn't mean other people have the right to call
how would you even call yourself monkey? How would you even call your son monkey? For what? For what
I don't
reason?
know. So because it's okay for you to use it to your son.
And his point is my son is not 100% black, so I'm calling my son monkey, so it doesn't have any effect when black is being called monkey as well.
I think the problem is just that people...
You can't just go around using the word panda in Asian and expect nothing. You don't call them pandas. Not, you know, it's not good.
I think people just want us to have this ideology whereby we rationalize every racial slur that has ever existed, especially starting with black people. That okay, it's okay to call us monkeys. It's okay to use Kool-Aids
it's okay
for
to call
African
us
Americans.
niggers and shit
it's
like that.
okay to call us niggers. Then, if that happens, then we do the same with the Middle Easterns. We do the same with the Persians. We do the same with the Chinese. And then we do the same with the whites. Nobody gets offended.
What exactly are you going to call white people? Do they have any derogatory name we can call them? Because I've never seen any black people using the word like that. I don't know if they have.
A black girl. I could see a white girl and just say, "Hey, Becky," which is a very common white name, but it's derogatory to actually just use that word and just say it to every white girl.
Oh, because Jay-Z used in his one of the lyrics, "Leave me alone, Becky." Becky with a good hair. What?
Yeah, so it's saying that to a white woman is actually a very derogatory way of talking to a black girl or a white girl. So I don't really understand. Like, if that's the easy argument people are trying to make, that because you do it doesn't mean everybody has to do it. And if that's the case, then don't get offended when people call you niggas out there.
Yeah. You just have to get used to that.
Because then you become a hypocrite. Accepting the word monkey, then not accepting the word negro. Because at the end of the day, it actually demeans who you are as a person and your community.
And that is the purpose of the world. That is the purpose.
Definitely,
exactly
it is meant to demean you, to demoralize you,
to make you feel less of who you are, and make you feel less of being black.
I'm not, like I said, I'm more disappointed about the reaction of black people
in supporting of this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Than H&M itself, because I feel like H&M itself is just trying to like play a game, like a game of popularity or a game of viral post.
If this was actually a mistake from H&M, the apology they gave would have been more.
I don't think it was a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. You saw the apologies, right?
I saw the apology, and there is just too much line. It's just like,
come on.
There is just too much line, so many lines to cross that somebody should have seen.
Too many faces, too many process, right?
From the stylist to the photographer to the creative person to the marketers.
You need a lot of stakeholders, approvers.
There's a lot of bureaucracy. So how did this actually pass through every stage of the bureaucracy that is actually there before it gets out in public? So if you're trying to tell me like they're not trying to play a game of viral sensation, then I just don't get it. But the thing is, after this outrage, do we actually use our money wisely and boycott H&M? That's the question. Because for me,
I'm not one of their customer anyway. So
for me, I don't regularly shop there. I don't shop there.
And this same nigga that's in support of this whole thing, I think he's one of the regular customers of H&M.
It's just as good as saying, okay, well, since I shop there anyway, I have to hold brief for them. I have to support them. But the thing is, these are actually even giving me more exposure to the fact that Uniqlo has almost same services that H&M is rendering. So if I ever have to spend my money on H&M, then I'll just rather walk into a Uniqlo stores, because there are so many Uniqlo stores in Thailand anyway. So
I just go to Zara.
So I just feel like for me, H&M is
Forever 21 or something.
And I'm done with H&M.
I'm done.
And this is actually a wake-up call for me, because it actually made me remember like when Dove happened, right? And I'm still shopping Dove products. Like I still buy Dove's deodorant and whatnot. So then I remember like, okay, I was outraged twice when they actually produced 2 racist ads in the past, like 2013 or 2012, then just last year. So what did I actually do with my money? I was still shopping with them. So now it just makes me remember I stopped using Dove like 2009 or 2010. So the outrage is just not enough. We need to hurt them with our money too. Like they need to be financially hurt, whereby those stores they plan closing. Most of those stores, like most of these companies, they believe they can do anything and they will still have the black customer, because we don't think at all. And don't think, it's not even as deep as the conversation around accepting this as being normal. It's not even as deep as I would have expected, because a lot of the reasons that people are coming up with to rationalize this racist ad, it's so easy to defeat. It just falls flat right in the face that,
just showing
because I call my
not
friends,
even
so then
thinking
definitely
at all.
everybody
Yeah.
has to call me. So how about if people come up with very novel arguments, then I could actually think deep on how to respond. But with the kind of argument I see people talking about, what if? It's
just so stupid. So it just sounds
I'm
so
not going to
stupid
be
to me.
responding to hypotheticals like,
Yeah, me too,
what
as
if
well,
it
like-
was owned by a black man, or what if it was this?
If this was owned by a black man and they pretend the same thing, people will be offended. It doesn't really matter who is in charge, which companies, like who owns the company.
The problem with a lot of black
You
people
don't see
is,
black people going around throwing watermelon at each other. You don't see black people going around throwing banana at each other's. We know that the word monkey is not for us.
It's so crazy because black youths have forgotten this recent incidents of bananas being thrown at black people and black people being called
Different
monkeys.
names,
Just in
monkeys.
recent
It
times.
just happened.
And
It
now,
happened
and
last
we were
year
all
as well.
outraged, and FIFA had to step in. That's an organization that actually knows the how racism actually affects the sports and the mentality of people, and they had to step in. And now you have people within the community being like, it's H&M and we have to give them a pass.
Just so stupid.
So I don't know, there are better ways we could act socially conscious. There are better ways we could act woke or whatever. It's not
I hate
trying
hearing
to be
that word
politically
woke.
correct or trying to actually be a coon. That's not how to be politically correct. If you want to act smart, then there are better ways to act smart, not just coming up with very silly, banal, vapid, and trite arguments like, I call people monkeys anyway, so
I call myself monkey, so it's
monkey,
cool
or what if? I'm
cool
not
for
going to be out here
H&M to
debating
refer to us
on
as monkey.
hypotheticals of what if. This is not even a case of what if. This is actually a case of reality. So reality already shows that a black kid was actually given a hoodie with the word monkey on to actually model it. And that changes the conversation. So that's exactly what we're talking about. The black community needs to do better. And even without this incident happening, I've always told you that the biggest problem within black community is ignorance.
Ignorant.
And shout out to Dr. Umar, who's always trying to educate the community.
Us.
And also we have rappers like this guy Kendrick Lamar gave him shout out. Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Killer Mike is really socially conscious rapper. And you had guys like Lupe Fiasco too, who are actually trying to educate our community on what's right and what's not right and what we should be doing. We need to catch up. There's too much ignorance. It's not even because of this.
My point is most of the black community, most of the black people, we don't take time to really reflect back on our own history. We never learn, we never study, we never read any books, we never go around research. They would rather use their time on Snapchat, on Instagram live stories, or hanging around Twitter and talking about what is happening. We don't know the history of what we've been going through.
Yes.
Right? This racism, this is an established form of racism that black people are this. They don't refer to black people as other animals except apes and monkeys.
Yeah.
Right? They never see us as a tiger, even with our survival instinct, even with our tough mentality. They never see us as a
lions.
better lions, as a better animal.
But
they see us as the animal with a disease transmitter, which is can transmit disease. That's why they said the reason HIV started from Africa is because of the Africa having sex with monkeys, apes, and something like that. And we all know this disease was created in a laboratory. Right? This word has been around for a long time. I think in Liberia or somewhere.
I'm not even surprised. Too many people are sellouts within our community. And
do you think it's actually when we say sellout is sellout means they're intentionally doing this? They know, but they have to fight for the people who are oppressing us. But to me, I don't think it's sellout. I think they are purely ignorant of what they're saying. They want to please so much people. They want
Exactly.
they don't want to offend their white friends.
Exactly. That's why I say they're acting politically correct. Like
They don't want to offend their white friends.
I have a white friend who's a huge supporter of Donald Trump. I don't mind. You can support him.
Yeah, that's the opinion.
But that's the opinion. But when it becomes racist and you're supporting a racist right to my face, then it's time to actually cut it. And
exactly.
I
have to question yourself.
Like,
well,
I'm okay with you having. I'm quite okay with you
can
having
have your political opinions. Yeah.
But when it comes to race and you're blatantly supporting a racist, then that's when we actually have to reevaluate that kind of friendship or camaraderie that we have going for us. And at that point, I had to cut it. Like, if you're going to support a racist, then you got no love for me.
That means behind my back. What are you talking?
Exactly,
that's the word
you have no love for me. Yeah. So then,
what exactly
kind of
are you talking behind my back?
Like if you ain't got my back, then what kind of friendship that?
So I always say this. I have white friends too, and I have one that I really like. We're so close. But the point is, I have to say my mind right now. I believe he's a good person, and I believe he's 100% my friend. But sometimes I question his something. Like what I question is, what if you're with your all white friends, among your all white friends, or you're with your white family, right? And my name or my was pumped up. How would you talk?
How would you respond to it? Yes.
If they say something bad about me, what would be your reaction? What would you say? Right? I have to question that all the time, right? But he might not have the courage to say it to my face.
I definitely don't care about who's offended.
He might not even have the courage to defend me behind my back.
Yep.
Right? So you have to really wait. What type of friendship? Like which extent can you really go with your other race friend? Right? You have to consider that all the time. And you coming out saying this because we called ourselves monkey. I've never called any black person monkey.
Get Out.
And I will never do that.
The movie Get Out was made just last year, and we actually forgot the lessons or the morals we actually took away from that movie. Because we're actually selling ourselves out now. Out in the dry to white people. I don't have problem with white people or whatnot. No? It's not even about race to me. But when we start to cross that line where we start to disrespect each other's community,
you have to put a stop to it.
Where we actually have to have a conversation.
Have to put a stop to it.
Okay, here is what it is. So if you're not trying to like, oh come on.
I have a friend. There was a day we were just talking about some people were just talking about which people who are loudly who makes noise, and she said, oh, she hates Indians, she don't like Indians, and I was like, yo, you can't.
How can you even say that?
How would you just put everybody together, just generalize everybody? I know in India there might be some people who misbehaved. That happens, like in Africa and in our country we have people who misbehave. That doesn't give us the right to say everybody behaves the same way.
Like,
and you know what happened? It happens that the father of my friend, his dad is actually blonde, right?
Yeah. And
I made a comment without knowing. I was like, it's like people saying all blonde people are dumb, like the blonde people that they're stupid. And she was like, why would he say that? My dad is blonde and he's really smart. How would you say that? All Indians are stupid.
For me, right? Personally,
it's just like that.
Personally,
now, she's been defensive because it hits home.
Yes,
she's been defensive. I was like, okay, can you say this to like if you're among the Indians, I call them stupid, or you say them, you hate them.
It's just like what J-Rock said in his lyrics, like, if you don't come from it, you don't know it.
You know.
So it actually hit her. That's when she's like, no, my dad is smart.
Yeah.
The thing is, to be honest, right? I feel like I've received more hate within the Indian community than from any other community.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not diminish the fact that my bestie is an Indian.
Exactly. So
and he's the coolest guy you can ever have. So I'm not going to judge people because I've actually seen one who's for keeps from the community. So
that is my point.
So that's all I need. Like
I told her I know some Indians are even racist to black people.
Yeah.
pure
That's a
racist.
fact.
It's
Like
a fact.
for me,
Yeah.
personally,
I've seen a lot of that,
Indians.
right? And the point is, I have so much Indian friends. They are really cool.
Exactly.
Like, so cool. We
Like,
call
at
ourselves
least
brothers.
I can
you
name
know?
5, 6, 7
They
cool
are
Indians that I
cool.
know. Like, super cool people.
You know? And just because I received some hate from some, that doesn't mean all of them have the same mindset or going around with the same hate in their mind. Some of them don't even they don't even give a shit about. And most of the time when we go out, and my friend always say, "Oh, I think people doesn't like me because I'm India." I was like, if you think people doesn't like you because you're India, would they like me because I'm
like exactly like the thing? I don't feel bad if a person doesn't like me because
who give a shit about your
like, what I feel is like
your likeness or not?
If you haven't really gotten close to me and you already don't like me,
that
then
means
you're
stupid.
prejudiced because you've prejudged me. So, and any person who's smart or someone who's at least logical knows that you can't judge a book by its cover. If you haven't had an interaction with a person, you can't just judge them as, oh, I don't like that person or I hate that person because of a race. And it's so easy to say, like it's already out there in the academia that racism is actually it's actually the biggest cause of racism is actually ignorance. It's because of the fear of the unknown. So, but when people from other races starts to like mingle with other races and try to understand, then they start to see like the fears they have and their opinions and misperceptions start to actually change.
Yeah.
So it's mostly because you're just ignorant of the person, you don't actually know their background or know their story. Then you just start to hate.
Exactly. There are a lot of people talking about Africans. Most of them talking about Africa as a country, not even as a continent. And some people talking about like individual country within African region. And most of them have never even said their foot in Africa. But they talk so much about Africa, saying like some African, we don't like in Africa they don't have water to drink and they don't have this. Where we grow up, where it was surrounded by water.
Yeah. That's why, like, I think I don't know who I was having this conversation with, like, recently about going to the beach and whatnot. And I was like,
I was born and brought up in the beach.
I spent my whole life next to the beach. Like, I spent my whole life around water. So, why would I actually want to go to
the beach or see something
or to the island? Because it's so banal to me now because I've spent, like, almost 2 decades of my life around that kind of scenery.
That is the place you call home. Whenever you're going back home, that's where you're going to.
So I'm not fascinated by that.
No, that is why most of the time they say, "Oh, let's go to the beach." For what? I know how to swim, but I don't swim. That is the point. Like some say, "Oh, black people doesn't swim." Dude, I can swim. Like I can really swim. Not just swim normal amateur swim. I can swim. I can save like myself and 2 other people if they get it drunk, right? So you just have to stop this bullshit of racism and discrimination and all those stuff. It's 2018. We should do better. We should be progressing. We should be moving forward. We should be learning what to say and what not to say to other people, irrespective of their races. You should be respectful.
Quite honestly, I feel like one of the big merits of studying at Stanford or at international university and being in Bangkok is that I get to meet people from
different races, all walks of life
and races, right? And within these interactions, I get to understand their culture, the traditions, the moral values of these people. Then I got to know the boundaries of how to make jokes, what jokes not to make, and what might be deemed offensive. So that's just what black people want. We want to respect your culture. We want you to actually respect our history, our tradition, our culture.
That alone, even
how is that too difficult to ask for?
Make it friends is educational.
Yes.
If you really want to dig into it, because like you have a book, like there's a lot of book writing. They wrote about races, what not to talk to, like say in different countries, right? But if you actually meet the people in real life, some of them might get offended, some of them might not.
Yeah.
Right? Some of them might think, some Australian thinks that Australia is owned by the white people.
Nah.
Some believe that.
Yeah, definitely.
And some
Like,
believe. I was talking to a guy. He said, "Oh, he's an Australian." He said, "Oh, Australia was owned by the Aborigines, but they are lazy and they are like too dependent on the system, right?"
that's
And
the same narrative about black people in the US.
and not only that, they say they believe they feel privileged, entitled. They say they feel entitled. I was like, how?
But
You took
just
their
said,
whole country
but you
from
just said
them.
it's owned by them.
Yeah,
And now they're acting
they
privileged.
feel entitled. Dude, you just steal a whole country from some group of people and relegate them to the lowest level.
When
And then when they don't even allow most of them to go to the college.
the system is just as it's quite similar to the system in the US where you had this whole struggle whereby first they had to allow black people vote. Then secondly they had to actually allow women vote. And then you have people being like, lots of black people are actually on government support and whatnot, that black people are lazy. But then
the system is designed.
It's not even about the system being designed. It's first, you've forgotten that these people, their ancestors have served this country and they weren't compensated for that. So how can you call them lazy when their ancestors has spent their lives and everything, their rights and humanity, working to build that same nation? So how can you now call them lazy where there's already an established fact of how hardworking their ancestors have been and how you've deprived them of equal compensation or economic benefits?
And they even went as far as fighting for the country and come back simply called nigger.
And even they had to actually fight in certain countries like in Alabama or Tennessee, where we had the civil war in the US. And then even when certain states are actually free, then you had the Jim Crow rule in certain parts of the US.
So just I don't know what to make of the whole H&M thing and the entire racist that people.
I'm quite sure
people are not
people know it.
People are not giving up on being racist. That is my point.
Yep.
You should be at this point that you should be getting tired of it.
No,
right? You should be getting tired of being stupid or being ignorant.
Want us to accept racism as a norm.
There's no way we're going to accept that. It's not a norm, and it's not normal.
That shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case where we have to accept racism as
There's no way we're going to accept that. I know they're pushing it. They're pushing it on us, but there's no way. And the only excuses they make being where they call black people nigger is because why you using the word nigger, calling yourself nigger, or making a music calling yourself nigger, but we cannot say it.
Yeah, maybe
you cannot say it. That is just the point. You can't say it.
Maybe you just have to accept the fact. Of that argument is that, we can only be like, okay, we need to come to a concession in the sense that we won't call you guys Negroes, but we can call you monkeys. And anything else.
Okay, so they're trying to interchange.
Maybe that's it. Like, okay, we can't call you niggers, but we can call you anything else. Yeah. And then you have people within the community be like, yeah, you can call us whatever you want, but as long as you don't call us niggers, then we're cool. And we're not cool, people.
And let me say it openly. All the people I saw posting in support of H&M or questioning the outrage of black people be offended by this ignorant print by H&M. From today onward, whenever I set my eyes on you, and I will be calling you monkey to your face.
Personally, I'm not even moved by the people I've seen.
No, I'm just going to call them monkey.
I'm not surprised by the people I've seen who've actually tried to hold brief in support of H&M as to this monkey conversation, because I don't really think these are people of sound intellectual opinions. So it's when I see people who are actually intellectuals or academia within the black community coming out to actually support. That's when I'll be like, okay, it's time to have a conversation. But the people I've seen posting and tweeting, it's just like, nah. This
so my brother is saying your opinion doesn't matter to me. Your opinion, your post. Nobody gives a shit about it. You just exposing yourself how ignorant you are. So what? I don't know if you get a hold of this. If you actually listen to this podcast, this episode, you just have to think deep, reassess your post, and feel and and adjust, or
It's
probably
actually
you might
it's
delay it
actually
or something.
personally it for me it's good that if the people being mentioned or being referred to in this podcast actually listen to it and decide to double down, in the sense that try to create another post to respond, or make a video to respond, then we can actually have a better conversation.
We can invite you up here. We will invite you up here.
Yeah, like maybe we need to invite Willie up here.
We should invite Willie up here.
Yeah. I'm better off having that conversation like,
openly. Let people
a proper conversation than just responding like to 280 characters or whatnot.
Yeah, I think we should have this conversation. I will try to get in touch with Willie. And I want him to come up here so we can just have this conversation once and for all. And I want him to go out before he comes here to do as much research he could to support his claim. Because I don't want you to come up here and just tell me your opinion without any facts, without any claim, without referring to something. Right? So I think we should be done with the H&M shit. I'm tired of talking about it because it's getting me so I don't know. So what do we have? Wizkid is invited to, or is one of the performing acts of Coachella Festival. That is huge. 2018 April. That is huge. It's huge for Nigeria. It's huge for Africa. It's huge for Black nation. Like when I say Black nation, I mean we African, you know. And for those of you who doesn't know what Coachella is one of the biggest music and art festival.
Yes, sir.
It's one of the biggest, and this year there are a lot of performance.
Yeah,
there's a lot of performance, like and the performing act, like the headliners. I think they have it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And the headliners, and if you know what I'm talking about, Beyonce is one of the headliners.
She couldn't do it last year because she was pregnant.
The Weeknd, he's the Friday headliners. Beyonce Saturday, and Eminem as the third. Then we have various artists from all over the world. We have the Migos. We have what is his name? SZA or something. We have a lot of but from what I can see, Wizkid is the only performing act from Nigeria, all the way from Nigeria.
Yeah, King Sunny Ade was there last year.
King Sunny Ade was there last year. But this year we have the young blood. We have the young blood. We have King Sunny Ade, that is an evergreen, you know. That is like forever. Respect, should be like in all Coachella every year, you know.
Yeah,
but having Wizkid this year is great. It's really huge.
Yeah,
it's huge for Afrobeat, you know.
I also feel like having Wizkid at Coachella this year is also a way of like showing recognition to African artists that okay, we feel what you guys are doing, and we feel like Afrobeat is right.
I think last year was the biggest year for Afrobeat ever.
Yes,
and I think this year is going to be great too. This year is going to be huge.
You had guys like Davido, Wizkid, and having collaborations outside of Africa. Then you have techno linking up with Drake. Let's see what the guy coming in. And Wizkid actually tried to solidify his stand, like especially within the US and within the world, that he can actually pull up. And he's had different features with different artists, and he's got respect of guys like Joe Budden and DJ Academics. So he's actually being respected as an artist within the US, especially, and the other places. And we all know that the UK, he's well recognized because he's had features with a lot of UK top artists, actually. And so for Wizkid to be at Coachella is actually a good one for Afrobeats, and we hope that he can actually
Coachella only invites top acts, you know, not just ordinary artists. It has to be like on your top game, you know. And not only artists as well, even top DJs. I knew a DJ last year, Never Say Not. He was one of the headliner DJ, and he after the Coachella show, he came to Thailand. I was privileged to meet him with one other DJ from US as well. So it's like the top DJs, the top artists.
Presently, I don't think there are a lot of guys who are as hot as Whiskey from Africa right now.
Not so much of them.
I don't
Not so
know,
much of
but
them.
I think he's the hottest right now. So
He is.
So
Internationally,
it's a huge,
internationally.
Yeah, even within the
within the
African
African region too.
It's like the hottest right now. Though we have Casper in your vest, we have Nasty,
that kid is talented.
Diamond and
that kid is talented
and whatnot. But
like I always say, I said the only threat I see to Wizkid in Africa is Nasty C.
Yeah,
that's the only threat.
I got so much love for that kid, and
that's the only. He's the only threat. He's really good. He's so really good that he sings like effortlessly.
Yeah,
just make everything so easy.
It's just so easy for him, man.
You know what I was thinking yesterday? I was at gym. I was running. I was thinking. I was listening to music. I was thinking, why can't one of those people just make this happen? I want to see a collaboration between Wizkid, Nasty C, and Kiss Daniel. I swear to God, I want to see something like that. I just want someone to make it happen.
I don't really see that happening.
It's not happening, but I just, like sometimes just wish.
Like I could see something happening between Wizkid and Nasty, or maybe Kiss Daniel. Nobody really wants to get involved with Kiss Daniel with all the drama.
With all the dramas going on, but if the drama gets resolved,
Wizkid and Nasty C and someone else on the track, but Kiss Daniel involved. For now, I don't really see that happening for Kiss Daniel, because he needs to get over this whole legal.
But if everything gets settled, who knows?
Even if everything gets settled,
I just want to say it. Sometimes you just like there's something you just wish it happens. Like there's a lot of various collaboration. Want to see Joko and Kendrick? No, everybody want to say that.
Hell yeah! Like,
but it just
we don't even just want to see a collab. We want to see them drop an album like bars on bars. Yeah.
So everybody want to say that. Sometimes you just have to wish, you just have to. Oh, I want to see this so bad. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, still wrong with it. But so what else do we have to talk about?
Well, I think that's like the two stuff.
We spend so much time on H&M, and H&M is
that's actually what they want. They actually want us to be talking about it. And
the
thing is, if you crunch the numbers of tweets, of Facebook posts, of Instagram posts, and everything, I bet you their marketing department will tell you like they've achieved their aim of actually getting the message out about it.
But you know why I get so confused about this whole thing? Most of the white people doesn't even feel anything.
They don't see a problem with it.
They don't see a problem with this. That is my major problem. That is the only problem. That is my only concern.
The thing is, it's just like just to make an analogy out of African American comedian Dave Chappelle. I feel like white people are only outraged when it comes to transgender or gender issues.
Yes. Yeah, because they're trying to. There's one of the agenda they're pushing so bad.
That's where it hits them at home. That's where it's related.
The point is why white people feel so offended when gay or transgender is being referred to as faggot, but they are not as offended when black being referred to as monkey.
It's just exactly now. It's just the same thing. Ta-Nehisi Coates was saying that. Okay, if a gay person or a transgender is referring to another transgender as faggot, nobody have a problem with that. No, like, it's cool. Everybody's okay with it.
Cool.
But if you, a straight person, refers to that community as faggot, then they say you are transphobic. So that's the same analogy that goes
homophobic,
and that's the same analogy that goes to calling black people monkeys. Yeah. There are just certain words within a community that is acceptable. Maybe not acceptable, but it's used by members of that community that outsiders can't use. It's as simple as that. I actually forgot to make that when I was speaking earlier, and thank you for bringing it up. That it's okay for LGBT community to use the word faggot, but it's not okay for straight people to use it. And then they start name calling. And the only time white people get offended,
and the thing is, most of the time, like white people, or like the gay LGBT community, they easily refer to themselves as gay. They call themselves gay. But sometimes they feel so offended when you gay.
Yeah.
Because, are you so gay?
Because I kind of understand. I just feel like it's more about us being able
Yeah,
to,
I know.
to
Yeah,
respect
exactly. Yeah.
communities.
To them, I don't use any offensive word
And just
towards
to
gay people. I
piggyback to
respect
your
them.
main point is that white people are not outraged, and I'm not surprised. They're only outraged when it hits home. And just imagine, like Dave Chappelle said, it was easy for Bruce Jenner to actually change gender and name, but it wasn't actually easy for Muhammad Ali to
Ali to
change
change his name.
from
Yeah.
Cassius Clay to
To
Muhammad
Muhammad
Ali.
Ali.
So you see,
Yeah.
even as much as we try to have these conversations, the system is there's still a power struggle within rationalizing and normalizing these whole issues.
So they feel like this is a white name. How would they want to change the white name to an Arabic name? But what I'm still saying, I still stand by this. Muhammad Ali, he claims that he changed his name. Oh, yeah, probably because of his religious faith, right? I don't know, like if the reason he changed his name is because of his religious faith, which is good, right? It goes with the name Muhammad Ali because most names like Islamic name or probably Arabic name. But if you think you change the name to trace back to your root, Muhammad is not an African traditional name.
Yeah.
It's not. And Umar Johnson is really smart. Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yeah, to have
He's
adopted
he's
Ifatunde.
really
I
smart.
think the thing is, like, when it comes down to like
He
this,
is smart.
yeah, I think it's more kind of acceptable because it's very an African traditional name, and maybe like we always have these jokes that's going around about African traditional names. Maybe it's time people start to actually change their name to Ngunlu, Ngala, and those really funny, crazy African names, and then maybe then it becomes really relatable for people.
But another thing I want us to talk about: why is it our African name is so difficult for white people to pronounce, but they come with some crazy ass Russian name and they can easily say that name. But when you say my name is Olusegun, nobody can even say it.
It's because people do not really put the effort. It's because they just feel like, oh, it's
You know this? What is this girl's name? She appear on this Nigerian girl. She studied in the US. Something
Chimamanda.
Chimamanda, yeah. She was. I think she gave a speech about that as well. I don't know where I was reading that.
Yeah.
People find it difficult to call her name.
Yeah, I just feel like it's people just. It's a form of disrespect that you don't really count. We don't really care about your name, and I feel like it's a concern within the black community. So it's not really the black community, within the African community, in the sense that it's so easy and effortless for people to call names like Shisheski. But then to call easy names,
Olusegun,
it just
Olusegun.
becomes so problematic
Olusegun.
that it's so straightforward and it's maybe 3-syllable words. So it's just polysyllabic word that it becomes so difficult for them to actually pronounce. And I just feel it's a way of it's a partial way of just showing disrespect that we're not really going to
don't give a shit about your name. Don't give a shit about your name.
It's called or whatnot.
Yeah, that has been a big problem. Like even here in Thailand, they give me like so long Thai name, and I will try to pronounce it. And when they say it for the first time, I will get it. But I give them my traditional name. This Olusegun say.
I try not
to
struggle.
They struggle with that a lot.
I try not to mispronounce people's name because personally I feel it's disrespectful.
Very, very disrespectful. And if you saying it like you don't even give a shit about the name.
Even though we know, we understand, we recognize the cultural and the racial differences, but at least put in an effort for the person
to even
see
try.
that,
Yeah,
okay, you're actually trying to get this right.
Yeah.
So maybe then I'm lucky to be called Anthony. So if you can't call Anthony, then maybe
I think Joy is
no point.
Joy is as easy as anything, but some people still struggle with it anyways. But I want people to know me by my traditional name too. Sometimes just call me with that name. Hit me with Shegun. I was like, oh shit. You know? Don't come. and most especially my surname is like English name. My Joy is like, so I don't want to be completely lost in this Western name shit. I'm an African man, Nigerian, and I have my traditional name Olusegun. You have to learn how to say that. And I would be so happy if you just hit me up. Olusegun, what's up? I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I would be so happy to. Yeah, if you're white or you're not Nigerian, you can say my name so good. I will be happy. So what else? What do we have? You have any song you want to play? Any music?
I'm good.
Podcast.
Or maybe it's time to sign out.
Yeah,
Before signing out, I really want to add my voice. It's time to actually end SARS.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw you retweeted. Like almost like four.
I think we need to keep saying this.
I thought this SARS bullshit has been.
No, it hasn't stopped.
And still going on.
It's
Even
still
with the
ongoing.
outrage and with the everything, the SARS still have the mind. I was reading one, they said they beat
a pregnant
woman to
she
coma.
lost her babies.
What is going on?
She lost a quadruplet. So that's manslaughter. That's you just killed like 4 kids. And I really feel like it's time Nigerians start to document this and put it forward at the International Criminal Court. Because the Nigerian government is not doing anything to actually.
That's the point. The government they're not putting any
brutality and human rights abuse. So I feel like maybe it's time. I'll probably try to ask a lawyer friend of mine if it's possible to actually document these different cases and put it forward to the ICC and have whoever is the Inspector General of Police at this moment tried for the crimes of the officers. And if we can get the names of the officers who are committing these different abuses, then it's even better for them to be tried at the Hague.
You think the police first they're going to release the name just like that?
No, a person who's documenting these things will probably know if there's a way you can get the names of whoever has done this.
Because most of like documentary is scripted as well. It's
documented that is like noting the names and
the names of the people.
As much evidence as you can get.
Okay, yeah.
Then put it forward to maybe a lawyer who gets all these different accounts.
But the point is, are you telling me most of the civil rights lawyers, the activist lawyer they're not aware of this whole thing?
They're definitely there are a lot of them that are actually aware, but there is minimal things they can actually do because you have these cases happening nationwide on hundreds of bases every day.
Mm-hmm.
So then there are a lot of people who are actually not verbalizing what they've gone through, who just accepted their fate. Yoruba would say motigbakamu.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are people who are actually pained, who are innocent, who just feels like, oh, I need to get my words out, who will not feel the shame of being brutalized.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who rather just want to have their dignity
privacy
or a little bit of their dignity back by being private with whatever have happened. And there are people, I just read a case that happened in our home state, which is Akure, of a little boy who just got admission and had to go pay certain fees and had over 100,000 with him. And he got arrested by SARS. They took him around town for about 4 hours. They collected the money from him and then they dumped him. That was a 17 years old boy who just got admission to the university, whose parents gave him money to go pay the necessary fees he needed. Okay, this is actually kidnapping, especially when you start to arrest people for no just cause and you start to take them around without actually instituting any criminal proceedings against them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you extort money from them at gunpoint, then you release them. So on so many levels, there are different crimes being committed. You could make case for armed robbery, you can make case for kidnapping, you can make case for corruption and so many things. So we really need to add our voice. Like there needs to be a reform of SARS. Like these guys are brutal. My cousin is a SARS officer, but that does not stop me
from saying the truth, from
speaking the truth. Because I have empathy for the stories I've seen, and even if you want to like challenge these stories, you can't tell me all these stories are false. Even
And
if,
I've been a victim of this whole thing.
and even if all these stories are false,
no, they can't.
then the woman whose video actually
Appears, okay.
of being brutalized, that's not false. And 4 children were lost because of this brutality. So then it begs the question that what's the cost or what's the price of a Nigerian life, especially even a little baby who four babies. So imagine the trauma that family is going through because of the excess of some ignorant police officers who feels like they are the alpha and they've been given so much power. The power given to them is to protect and serve. It's not to brutalize. Now they've brutalized a woman to the point where children are dying. So I think it's very important for the government to, at this point, to intervene. And I think there's been a lot of social media campaigns. And a lot of the Nigerians on social media are complaining about this. But we are not actually seeing that transmitting to the street.
Mm-hmm.
Where people are starting to actually protest and making sure something is being done. It's just all about
I think the problem, most of Nigerians' problem is because we complain about something, but we never take any action.
Yes,
we just all talk. We just go ahead, talk.
Even when they are
and some people,
even
celebrities, like when they call out for they call people for protest and people turn out, they don't even appear.
Even doing this when, like, a couple of weeks or over a month ago, when this case was actually at the height of it all, where people came out, where there was a call to end SARS. And there was a call for people to actually come out and protest. Maybe 50 people came out.
Can you imagine?
So then the issue is you don't even actually
We can't even mobilize enough people to even protest.
You don't even need old people to come out. It's just the youths who are actually being affected by the menace of SARS that needs to actually come out and have a call to action whereby the government actually at a point intervenes. Because we cannot continue to watch while our people are being brutalized, while the youths are dying. And it's now a point where infants are actually dying. So there needs to be a change in the status quo. There needs to be a paradigm shift whereby the police force starts to serve and protect the people instead of brutalizing, instead of extorting, which has been the case. So, and personally, this is something I'm going to keep doing on this podcast.
Yeah, I think we have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing.
With every week that passes by, it's actually a new case.
Yes, because this has been happening years. Like not just 2007.
Yeah.
This happened to me myself before I traveled.
It's just actually at its peak now.
This happened to me like I think 2008. Yeah, it happened to me 2008.
Actually at its peak now.
It's like 9 years ago. And I've been living abroad for like at least 7 years.
And one of the really important case being made against this SARS, the present formulation of the SARS, is that a lot of the officers do not actually have uniforms. So if a person is being kidnapped, how are we able to differentiate
this
SARS
original SARS or from kidnappers? Yeah.
So you could just have kidnappers who wear black shirt come into a household, decide to maybe arrest, kidnap the breadwinner, and just go away and be like, oh, we are SARS. Then you start looking for the person until you receive a call for ransom. So how do we actually differentiate SARS officers from kidnappers or hoodlums and thieves? So that's there's a lot of problem in the country.
This reminds me of what we talked about last night. As like the major problem of Nigeria, is because of identification. We don't have identity.
Yeah.
So anybody can commit any crime and go away with it.
And the greatest problem is when this SARS, when they first accost a person, they ask for your ID. And if you try to identify yourself, they will tell you if you bring it out, we'll break the ID.
For what?
Then why did you ask the question in the first place? There have even been cases whereby people bring their ID out regardless. They break the ID, they throw it in the gutter, then they'll be like, now identify yourself.
Where's your ID? Can you imagine? For what?
They just don't care.
All because of money, or because of what? And like we talked about this in our first episode, I will put part of the blame on the government.
Definitely. But at the same time, that does not excuse their actions.
I know, but you don't just like we have to go to the root of this problem. We don't just try to solve the problem from the surface.
I feel like a way we could actually solve the problem is SARS officers making it easier for Nigerians to empathize with them and call for the government to reform SARS in the sense of actually providing enough budget for them. But now that the people have been brutalized, that we now have an us versus them mentality. That, okay, it's we against SARS. How do we actually now agitate for SARS?
Exactly. There's nothing you can do because the people who are supposed to
stand up for you already,
to be your support,
you already have a problem with them.
Yeah.
And even when the government decides to reform, it's still going to be difficult for people to actually come out and agitate. When you look at what you suffered from the hands of these officers, you'll be like, I definitely don't want to be on the same team with them. So that's the problem. Which I just feel it's important we add our voice, and I'm glad we'll be able to do that.
Doing this every episode on the government reformed SARS.
Yeah,
you have to stop brutalizing your own people. We Nigerians, we can't be running from bad treatment abroad and come back home and still be facing the same thing.
I think it's even much bearable to be racially abused abroad than to be physically brutalized by SARS
in your own house,
because
your own home.
When you're racially abused, it doesn't come in form of physical harm. It's more about the psychological effect. But then you can actually channel it positively and be like,
yeah, I can get over this.
For a person to racially abuse me is because the person is ignorant and doesn't know me. It's because of prejudice.
You can get over that.
Actually, it's easy for you to reverse that.
They brutalize you.
For being brutalized, physically, it comes with a cost.
Yeah, physically abused, and you get
mental trauma.
Mental trauma.
And then you also have to pay the cost of going to the hospital. And then you also have to pay the cost of bail. Because bail is not free. Even when you're the one who's been beaten, it's not you actually resisting arrest. So when you look at it all, it comes at the detriment of the person. So it's better to be abroad and be racially abused than to be at home to be physically abused and brutalized by SARS. So this is why the government needs to actually listen to the youth and actually make a change.
And the problem with Nigeria is like the government, they are not listening. They don't want to hear anything.
Yep.
If it's not within the cabals, they don't listen to anything that the problem of Nigerians, they never pay attention to it. And those are the people we send there to represent us.
Yeah, it's a huge problem within the Nigerian community, within Nigeria as a nation, and also humans too. Like, if it doesn't hit home, close to home, if you're not affected, you don't feel the need to act. So it's usually reactionary.
Can you imagine from what I was
reactive?
I read from what I was reading. Buhari's son, motorcycle accident. I was reading that he blamed the securities. That the security, they are careless with his son.
He's a grown man, so if he decides to go on a reckless power bike sprint ride, who are the security guys to actually stop him? He's an adult.
And now the point is the security, they are careless with your own son. What about the lives of the other Nigerians? Does that really matter to you?
So if we now have a situation whereby the president's son is being reckless and not regarding laws, traffic laws.
Yeah.
Then
and not respecting even the order from the security, because
exactly. So what happens to the common man on the street?
They will definitely say something. You can't do this, but like, I'm the son of the president.
And now we have a situation whereby I heard that the president's son is being airlifted to Germany for medical treatment.
Is that okay?
How many poor people actually
have the money? Yeah,
and this cost is coming at
taxpayers' money.
Taxpayers. So that's why on our very first episode I said Nigeria is a failed state. And issues like this reiterates and helps to buttress that statement.
And a friend of mine hit me up, said we should go easy on Nigeria, on Nigerians, on this our podcast. I know he's a friend and he's a fan of this podcast as well, but we just have to speak the truth.
The thing is,
we have to speak the truth.
Before I went home in last year, right? Before I went home last year, when I hear people complaining about the status quo, about the different situations when it comes down to economic situations, employment and everything, I don't really take it serious. But when I went home and I saw the situation on ground, then I felt like, whoa, I think what people are actually saying is true. So I've experienced a lot of the things we're talking about on this show. And it affects a lot of people. As much as we do not just want to be out there trying to like hang the country dry in the public for everyone to see. But I still feel like we are compelled to say the truth.
The truth is what really matters. We cannot be hiding just because we're Nigerians. We cannot say exactly from where we came from our community. The sea problem, the government, the sea incursion. Incursion. They have.
Look at the lives, the properties, the livelihood that is being lost to that sea incursion.
My dad's house is completely gone.
Yep, that's a fact. So the thing is,
that is a home I grew up from.
If we start to minimize
the house is gone.
The truth, we start to minimize saying the truth, then who's eventually going to say the truth?
The truth.
Then how can we challenge those who we've invested power to? So how can we actually challenge them when it comes to saying the truth when we cannot even say the truth and we've not been empowered?
And we even have the people right from the community who have the power to even write a petition actually to the government, but they are writing a petition against because they already owns home in the city. They feel like the history of that community doesn't really matter to them because they are living. So if that is the case, at least our family is God bless them enough to have home uptown. Yeah. Or does that mean we have to neglect people who doesn't even have the financial support or the education to do that?
Then how do you actually live a full life when you've erased your history, especially your childhood history? All the nostalgic feeling of going back home and remember how you grew up. What happens to all of that? That's like a part of your life totally gone.
Like I said, like on our last episode, I said if I have to go back, relive my life again, I will go back to where I started from. Yeah. I might like make a little bit changes, but I want to experience how I grew up.
So I just don't understand. I'm not a person who wants to suffer from selective amnesia about my teenage or my childhood life. So I want to have a perfect history whereby
you can always go back. I can always go back and show people, this is where I came from, this is where my house is, this is that.
With that being said,
I think it's time to sign out.
Yes,
I'm playing. I think I will be playing Asha music, Dreamer Girl. I'm in love with Asha. In case y'all don't know.
Thank you to everyone who's been listening. Thank you to you guys who've been listening.
And this is Joel, aka Authority. I'm signing out. And I will leave you with this music, aka Debe, aka Tene. In case you don't know.